Welcome back to In Focus right here on ABC 10. Once again, I'm Jerry Taylor here with U.S. Senator Gary Peters. All right, you're a politician, so I got to talk a little politics before I let you go.
Yeah, sure.
You don't have to worry about running for election anytime soon. You're good for the next couple of years after you just got done with one.
6 years.
6 years.
5.5 now.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So you don't have to worry about that. But we're coming up on a very big election year. Before we talk 2016, the big thing, President Obama, he is going to be on his way out. We know term limited. Lately, the big thing in Washington has been the Iran deal. And there's been, you read good about it, you read bad about it. You see both sides of the aisle kind of tackling the issues that they like and don't like about it. For you, do you like the deal that's currently on the table? Because I know we have a long way to go. It seems like before that is going to get agreed upon and probably signed.
Yes, in fact, we're in the 60-day review now that Congress has for that, and so we'll be back. When we get back into Washington in September, probably the week of September 8th, we'll have the vote. I haven't made a decision yet. I'm still in the process of wading through it, getting all sorts of opinions. As you mentioned, there are folks on both sides who are very passionate about whether or not we should agree to this or not to agree to it. I've had the opportunity to speak directly to President Obama about it, Secretary Kerry. We've had classified briefings, we've had unclassified briefings, and now that I'm back in Michigan, I've been talking to folks here across the state too that have very strong feelings, and it's important for me to hear what people are saying here locally. So I'm taking a serious look at it. It's probably one of the more serious votes that I'll make, however long I'm in the U.S. Senate. And I've got to do what I believe is right for the United States and take in as much information as I can.
Okay, fair answer there. Okay, 2016, we got the presidential race come up. It's very early. I mean, we're talking, we've got, this year and a couple more months, and then, November 2016 will be here before we know it. Right. It's been kind of fascinating just for me and probably other people to sit back and watch right now. And the person everybody's kind of talking about right now is Donald Trump. And he leads in polls, but lately a lot of people haven't been kind of happy with what he's been saying, and to the media during the GOP's debate last week. What your response about just Donald Trump, and do you think he has a chance to represent the Republican Party? I know you're a Democrat, but what are you seeing from the other side of the aisle, especially when it comes to Mr. Trump, because he's putting it all out there?
Yeah, and I'm probably not the best expert to talk about what happens in the Republican Party politics as a Democratic senator. I support Hillary Clinton. I think she is speaking to the American public about issues that people care about, particularly the growing inequality and the shrinking middle class that we have in this country, which is certainly my main concern, that we've got to turn that around, and I think she is doing that. It is interesting to see Republicans sort it through. Certainly, as you mentioned, Donald Trump is leading in the polls now. He certainly is speaking to Republican voters who believe what he has to say. But as you mentioned, there's still a long way to go before we get to the eventual nominees, although I'm very certain that Hillary Clinton will be the Democratic nominee. Okay.
I was going to ask about that because, you see Bernie Sanders just recently had 19,000 people at a campaign rally. I mean, have you had a chance to ever interact with Mr. Sanders at all?
Oh, sure. He's a colleague of mine. So, so I serve with Senator Sanders. He's a man of high integrity and absolutely passionate about the things that he cares about. So I think it's very important that he's part of the primary. He brings a great dimension, the issues that he's focusing on, also focusing on the growing inequality and how we have to address that. I think it's a very important message, and it's healthy. It's healthy in the process when you have people talking about real issues and talking about solutions to how we deal with it. So I think it's good that he's there. I think Hillary Clinton will, in the end, will prevail. But he's an important part of the process. Right,
and I know you think, like you said, you believe it'll be Hillary Clinton and Democratic ticket, but do you think Joe Biden sooner or later throws his hat in the ring? Because we've also read a lot and heard a lot about that maybe he's going to throw his hat in the ring, but he hasn't officially done it yet. Do you think that would help or hurt Mrs. Clinton?
Yeah, and I don't know what he's planning on doing, and I know I've been reading that he considers it. Certainly, he's I think done an outstanding job as a vice president, someone who I have very high respect for, but. As time goes on, it becomes more difficult for somebody to get into the race too. So I'm sure he's got to weigh that. The time is starting to run out. He'll have to make a decision fairly soon.
Okay. So Hillary Clinton, you believe Democrats, as we know. Do you have a guess, the Republican front runner? Do you hear something? Do you think something? Do you have any idea who it's going to be?
No, I don't.
Idea? I don't think anybody does at this point.
No, I don't know. I think we just let see it play out. We have I believe 17 candidates at last count, so a lot can happen.
Okay, last question here for you. We've got about a minute to go here. If you think that the election, we know we're going to have many more debates. Right. What do you think is going to be the one key critical issue? There are a lot of them, but the one key critical issue that could decide the election, and what do you think America moving forward these next 4 years? Is it the economy? Is it education? Is it the deficit? Is it the Iran nuke deal? What do you think is going to be the key thing that could decide the debate?
Well,
or decide the presidency?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what I just mentioned. It's about the fact that the American middle class is getting weaker. People are working harder to try to get ahead. Wages are stagnant. We need to see an increase in wages for folks. So the economy continues to be the number one issue. Now, having said that, some of the other things you mentioned factor in that. Education factors in that. We've got to make sure we have a quality education system, and it's difficult right now for young people who may go off to college and end up saddled with tremendous debt, which makes it difficult for them to start their family and to grow. Those are all issues that are at least what I'm hearing from people as I travel across Michigan. And I take the job of being a representative very seriously. You've got to be out listening to folks, talking to folks, and hearing what's on their mind. And that's really what people are concerned about. And that's what they're going to want presidential candidates to address. And the one who does that the best will be our next president.
Gary Peters, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
U.S. Senator Gary Peters right here on In Focus. Join us next week for another edition of In Focus right here on APC 10.